Hi everyone, welcome back. This is week 32 of my social isolation get ready with me's. It is Halloween week. Halloween is not really going to be happening this year, but I wanted to do something a little bit more thematic for Halloween. So I didn't ask on Instagram yet again because I want to do something with a black lip and I want to actually try to make a softer eye look for once. We'll see if I succeed. So I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I don't know if anybody's actually concerned about this kind of stuff anymore, but since Kat Von D has become removed from the brand and it's since been rebranded the stupidest name in the world, what is it? KVD Vegan Beauty, Kindness, Vegan, Doing Good, something or other. It's honestly, I don't know how that name made it out of like the meeting room. Anyway, I want to do something with a black lip, softer eye, and a little bit of glitter. I've got a nice little Halloween-ish shirt on today, so that's what we're going to be doing today. You know, I think I bumbled right through that intro about explaining the Kat Von D thing. Since she's been removed from the brand, I'm fine with supporting them, basically, because she's got nothing to do with them, so I'm happy to throw them my money. I say that, but I haven't actually bought anything since she was removed from the company, or left, whatever. But I do still have a lot of Kat Von D products that I love, and I'm happy to use them and showcase them. So, it's been so askew lately in my world that I completely forgot about my blog anniversary. I think I hit 7 years on October 16th. Funny fact, this is a total fluke that this happened, but October is my favorite month of the year and 16 is my favorite number. And opening the blog on October 16th was never intentional, but I realized years later that it was like favorite number and favorite month. And I was like, huh, that kind of makes sense. Anyway, usually every year I give away a palette. Totally forgot this year. Missed it, have no plans, don't know what to do. Maybe I should just do a giveaway later on. Keep saying it, but this year is messed up. I haven't really been doing blog updates, I think in about the last year. I just kind of lost interest in constantly editing photos and uploading blog posts and typing stuff out. Still like doing YouTube, but for whatever reason, blog posts themselves started to lose a lot of my interest. So I just kind of cut it out eventually. There was a point in time where I was doing 2 videos a week and I think 3 to 4 blog posts a week too. I don't know how I managed that. That is so much freaking work. On that note though, I have a little bit of a story about my internet background. And this kind of ties into something else I was going to talk about, but let's first start with the shadows. So Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. This is a all matte palette, and we're going to start off with this one up here. There's no name on the inside, that's frustrating. It's called Lazarus. And that's going through the crease. So I am 37 years old, and I'm just giving you this for context because we're about to roll it back to 1997, 1998. And I was in love with the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, obsessed, truly obsessed. And I know people say that a lot about their favorite things, but I was bananas for this show. I had a website that was called And You Thought You Were Obsessed with BTVS, which is short for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And it was a super popular website. I remember getting like between 1,000 to 1,500 hits a day back in 1998. The website is still online. I'll link to it down below. It's a bit broken because it's moved a few servers over the years. But it's still there and some of it still works. I would curate photos from different websites. I had like personality quizzes. I had reviews of all of the books because I would read all of those. I had all of the action figures. And I was part of a message board called smgboard.com where I still have friends from that board to this day. Some of them still watch these videos. Hi, Heather. I know, I'm pretty sure you're watching. And there's probably a few other people too, that not everybody comments, right? And those were the early days of the internet. I feel like I really grew up on that message board, like with these people watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer when I was like 14, 15 years old, up through university, and just, you know, really discovering the world via a TV show through the internet by talking to all kinds of people. And there's still people from this board that I'm meeting years later, and that makes me so happy. And that really drove my interest in meeting people from the internet, because I have always been pro doing that. I just think it's such a wonderful experience to finally meet somebody that you've been talking to for years and years. And I know that really freaked people out back in the 90s, but I've always been super supportive of it. I have never actually met anybody strange or bizarre, and I've been meeting people for a very long time. For my lid color, I'm going to go in with Lucius here. So, yeah, I've been a massive Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan for a long time. Had that website, still have it. And the thing that I was going to talk about in this video was the fact that I have a tattoo from the show. So I got it when I was 16, which is a different story on how I got that. But it's like a 21-year-old tattoo now. I can put pictures of it here. If you're a fan of the show, you will recognize it as Faith's tattoo. It's on my lower back though, it's not on my arm. And it's a 21-year-old tattoo, and it's starting to look a little bit worse for wear, which like hurts a little bit, right? Like I look back at that pristine photo from when I was 16 and I'm like, it looked so good then. And now it's kind of a little bit warped. And I reached out to the original tattoo artist and was like, is there any way that you could touch this up so that the lines are sharper, make it a little bit darker now because it's faded over time? And she was like, I can, but it's going to make the tattoo fatter. Like, because to like sharpen up the edges, you have to go like a millimeter or two out. And I was like, I don't really know if I want to do that because then it's not going to look the same and yada, yada, yada. And honestly, the artist was like, I can do it, but honestly, it looks so good for its age that you shouldn't be touching it up. There's no need to. And I was like, okay, fine. But I had my husband take a picture of it like a few weeks ago and I was like, like it doesn't look as good as it used to. But I love that tattoo, considering that I got it when I was 16 years old, when, you know, it's possible that I could have changed my mind on how I felt about it, but I frigging love it still. I am of the mind though, if it starts to get a little bit too warped over the years, I think I will just get it lasered off because I don't want to have one of those like 50-year-old bodies where it's like all wobbly and stuff like that. So there is a potential that I could still remove it. Okay, so from here, I'm going to deepen up the outer corner a little bit, and I'm using Saleos. It's this shade here, and my brushes are still dirty. Yeah, that's purple on it from who knows when. And I'm just going to tap it on and drag it up here. So yeah, that was a little story that I thought I'd share because it kind of ties in a lot of aspects of my life. How much I love meeting people from the internet, how much I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer and still love it to today. I really need to go back and watch the Halloween episodes before Halloween actually happens because I kind of like doing that every year. I'm definitely due a rewatch of the entire show. It's been a long time since I watched the whole thing back over. Some of it's a little bit sad though, because you pull out, like, I have it on DVD. I pull it out and it's like 4:3 ratio, right? So it's like the square box and I'm like, There is a launch that had the widescreen, but it was never intended to be shot that way. So you end up with a frame that's not necessarily how it's supposed to look. And I don't really want to do that. I think Netflix had launched it as widescreen and it just looked a little bit odd. But yeah, super obsessed with Buffy. I still have all of my books like sitting on a shelf over there. Love that show. Loved that show. And for brow bone highlight shade, I'm going to use Ludwig up here. I'm going to finish up the eyes today though before we move on to the face. So I am going to go back in with this shade right here on the lower lash line. Just want a bit of a shadow, not much there. All right, next I'm going to take the Kat Von D Alchemist Holographic palette. I love this thing. It's so friggin' good. And it went on sale, I'm pretty sure at Sephora like years ago, but it's still available as far as I'm aware. I'm going to take the shade Pink Opal here and put that on the inner corner of the eye. Because I kind of want to do like a pale pop of red. But the problem is there is no pale red. It doesn't exist, right? Like it's pink. So I'm taking Pink Opal on the inner corner and then I'm going to add some glitter on top. And for glitter, I'm going to be taking the MAC Glitter Brilliance in the shade Reflex Red, which basically comes across as a bit of a pink. And to get that to stay in place, I am using my Too Faced glitter glue. So with this, I just pop some on the back of my hand, take a small brush, coat it, but not too thickly, and then just put it on the inner corner of the eye. It layers fine on top of shadows, by the way. Doesn't really disturb them. I do let it dry a little bit though, because I don't want to put the glitter directly on it, because I feel like it slides around a little bit that way. So I'll do the other eye with the glue. And then I'll go back to the other eye and put the glitter on. Just want it to go a little bit more tacky, that's all. And then I just pat the glitter on top. The lights are really washing that out. I wonder if I can turn this down a little bit while I'm filming. There, I made it a bit darker, so I think you can see the glitter a little bit better. But if I turn that exposure down, it doesn't look very good for filming overall, so I have to turn it back up. Okay, now what I want to do is a big old wing, and I want to do an inner point here too, which is something that I never do. So I'm going to walk you through this one because I don't normally do this. This is the Physician Formula Eye Booster, and I'm going to start with my normal wing. And I'm making it much longer than normal because I want it to be like the focal point of this eye look. And then for the inner corner, what I want to do is create a point. So I'm going to do that. I don't do this that often and I'm worried about screwing it up. To do this, I'm finding I'm having to like pull my nose to like straighten out that area. A bit strange, but it works. Okay, so for the waterline, I'm going to be using the INGLOT Kohl pencil in 05, which is just a nude color. For mascara, I have the Milk Kush mascara. For fake lashes, I'm using these Socialized Lady Lashes, which are more of a half lash, but they're going to help elongate this outer corner of my eye. Okay, eyes are done. I'm going to move on to the face, and I'm going to pray that I don't forget to do my eyebrows by the time I'm done. Okay, same thing as per usual lately. I'm using my INGLOT Beautifier Tinted Cream. This is in the shade 103. So one show I've really been enjoying lately, and I am super late to this party, I understand, Schitt's Creek. So good. The first season was interesting, but not as enticing as it has definitely gotten, to me anyway. I'm now on season 4. I don't know how many there are. I feel like there's 6, which means that there's not much left for me to watch. But what an endearing show. It is so, it's light and airy, but it handles some issues, and it's really just heartwarming. And I was talking to my friend Steve last night about it, and he said one of the reasons it's so nice to watch that right now is because it's heartwarming. It's something nice to see. It makes me laugh. It's just something really enjoyable to watch. It's a Canadian series. It was produced by CBC, I think. I don't even know if it aired in the US. I have no idea. Although I heard about them winning a ton of awards, and I don't know if they were like American awards or not. But I definitely got into the hype after they won those awards, like I'm sure a lot of people did, and it's just been so nice to watch. It's also nice to watch a show that is not like a full 45-minute, you know, like hour thing. It's nice to just put it on and like binge it because all of the episodes are 22 minutes, which is great. And there's not a lot of shows out there that are like that anymore. We've also been watching The Boys, which I've really been enjoying. That show, it's just like you never know what's going to happen on it. We're only on season 1 though, so no spoilers, please. I know season 2 is occurring right now. But that's another good one, but totally different tone than Schitt's Creek for sure. I think David on Schitt's Creek is probably my favorite character. He's just so enjoyable. Is it David my favorite? Maybe Stevie. The two of them, I'm in love with them. They're so much fun and enjoyable, and Stevie's so like sassy. I just absolutely love her. I finally finished reading that Hunger Games prequel book. I think I hauled it a few months ago when I was doing more like lifestyle stuff in my haul videos. And it was okay. I expected a lot more from it, and the ending just devolved way too quickly. Like, there was not enough build-up for what happened at the end to be justified, IMO. So that was a bit frustrating. I've since moved on to reading, is it called Midnight Sun? It's the reverse of Twilight. Like, it's from Edward's perspective, and it's bad. It's really bad. Like, I know that Twilight is not like the utmost in literary pieces of work, but it was fun to read. I mean, how many years ago was that? 15 years ago? Maybe longer than that. I still enjoyed Twilight. It was a fun young adolescent story that, you know, was a bit different at the time. But reading Midnight Sun, Twilight from Edward's perspective, is so insipid. Like, no one thinks the way that he is thinking. Like, he's thinking what teenage girls want boys to be thinking at the time. Like, it's just utterly stupid. It makes absolutely no sense for this, like, hundreds-year-old vampire to be thinking these totally dumb thoughts. Like, it's just, I can't get down with it. I had hoped that the book would sort of evolve with the audience. Like, we're all, you know, a good 15 years older at this point. So I was hoping that it would be written from a little bit more of a mature perspective. It's not. It's just juvenile. I think I'm about 100 pages in, and somebody did on Instagram DM me to say that it does get better, but like, it's a struggle to read this thing right now. Ugh. For bronzer, I'm just using my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. My cat is crying in the other room. He just wants attention, but he's gotten into this really weird habit of meowing when I'm not up. So here's a bit of backstory. The cats are fed at 7:30 in the morning and 7:30 at night. And like cats, they will start meowing for food a good 30 minutes to an hour before they get fed. Not always, but generally. So they get fed at 7:30 in the morning. Fine. We go back to bed because I'm not getting up at 7:30 in the morning on the weekend. Heck no. So we go back to bed, and then after Nemo has eaten his food, he decides that I need to be up now. Like me, Shell. And I'm like, this is a new habit that I'm not enjoying. So he will jump up and down off of the bed, stomp around on me, trying to get me to wake up. And I'm like, why? Dude, you have never done this. Please let me sleep. I let you sleep all freaking day, you know? He will eventually calm down. I have this little coin jar that I will rattle that will usually shut him up. But the stupid thing is that once he's calmed down, he comes back to bed and sleeps anyway, like between my legs. So like, why did you need me to get up? Like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like he just wants me around lately. And I'm like, dude, I'm around all the time. I'm going absolutely nowhere, which makes me a little bit worried about when we do eventually return to work, you know, in 2030 or whatever it's going to be. The poor cats are going to be, like, lonely because they're so used to having the humans around all the time. So that's going to be strange. But yeah, I don't know why he's picked up this habit of needing me to be awake after he's been fed. I don't like it. Okay, for blush, I'm going to be using this old NARS and Charlotte Gainsbourg multiple called Jeanette, which was my grandmother's first name. And this is a bit more of a sheer tinted multiple, so I'm just going to take it on my brush and dab it onto my cheeks. Don't want too much color, but I say that all the time and then I overdo it anyway. And I gotta cover that lash band. The glue is still showing. Whenever you put lashes on, if you're new to this, I assume most people know this, but if you're new to wearing lashes, go back in with your liquid liner and just cover the band. And you can always cover the glue so that it doesn't show up as much. That's Nemo. For highlighter, I'm just going to go back in with the Alchemist palette and use pink Opal again. And I remembered, I'm going to do my brows off camera and then I'll be right back. Okay, now the point of this whole look was to use this black lipstick by Kat Von D. This is called Witches. Perfect. And it is really a true black. So there we go. That's the finished look. I did initially oscillate between doing a dark red lip versus a black lip, but I just don't get to play with black lips that much, so I went with the black one, but you could totally wear this with like a darker red like what's on my shirt. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. That is week 32 of these Get Ready With Me's. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.